like, I'm going to have to get another one because then I don't have to have, like, people eating the microphones on silver screen and shit. So,
yeah, condenser mics are really nice.
Well, and, you know, the thing is like, I hooked it up, I plugged it into the board, and I clicked record, and I'm like, check, nothing. What the fuck? Like, for an hour I sat here like, what the hell is going on? This thing is broken. And shit, and I was so pissed that I was gonna have to like send it back and shit like that. But then I looked it up online and it was like, you need phantom power.
Phantom power, yep.
Through it, and I was like, what the fuck is that? And so I'm just sitting there, I'm like, God damn it! There's a phantom button on this thing. Click. Okay, here we go.
We have a friend who raps, and I like just kind of produce demos for him. And he showed up with a mic kind of like this one time, and I spent like an hour and a half trying to get it to work before I figured out it was the fucking phantom power.
Yeah.
Only to then find out that the phantom power switch on my interface was broken. So
that sucks.
I had to completely change my setup, but it worked. We got it recorded.
Well, we're rolling.
Nice.
That's cool though. I'm here with Scared of the Dark. It's Tony 2's Dakota Podcasting Experience. I'm here with 50% of Scared of the Dark.
Exactly half.
We have, and who are we missing? We're missing
Jake Hardy
and Taylor Machado.
And Taylor Machado?
Yep.
Correct.
I've never seen that word before. So.
Until I met her, me neither.
Now she was playing bass for
Deadfield.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Is that still a thing?
No.
Neither Deadfield or Terror We Fall. Scared of the Dark is kind of the Deadfield Terror We Fall super group, if you will. So,
well, what is that? What was that band that Sammy Hagar did? Chickenfoot. You guys ever heard Chickenfoot?
I don't think I have. No.
Sammy Hagar, Michael Anthony from Van Halen, and God, like a couple other Dream Team guys and shit.
Wonderful.
Yeah, Chickenfoot. You should check it out. That's how Huey Lewis and the News got together. Like they were. You guys know who Huey Lewis and the News were.
Yep.
Like, they were all studio musicians. They were all really kick-ass studio musicians and shit like that. And then one day, they all just kind of got together and were like, let's make some fucking awesome music and shit. So
yeah.
Yeah, so Scared of the Dark is the only one remaining. Okay.
Yep.
Well, but Terror We Fall was a great band. And they actually, you guys actually recorded the intro to Silver Screen Showdown.
Yep, that was the last effort of Terror We Fall.
Oh, really?
Yep,
I am honored.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's awesome. So was that just you three, you guys and Jake?
It was mostly just me and Jake.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
At that point, Terror We Fall had basically officially disbanded, and then you had messaged me, and I'm like, this is a great way to go out. So.
And it's going to be on there every season.
Yeah. Me and Jake have talked about maybe remastering it for future seasons. So we'll see. But
nice. I mean, if you guys honestly, if you guys wanted to just lay down, you could still do just those lyrics that you have, but lay down like a 3-minute just jam on it.
Yeah.
Because then I could use that over the credits.
Okay.
Because what you sent me was just 15, 20 seconds.
Yeah, something like that.
But yeah, if I had a minute and a half, 2 minutes or something like that, if you guys just jamming on it and shit like that, oh yeah, man, that'd be sweet.
I think we could swing something like that.
Because I'm trying to get away from using other people's music and stuff, and yeah. But so we got a drummer and a guitar player, and your fucking guitar is amazing, man.
Thank you. I paid too much money for it, but I saved up for a while, and I love it. It's a Music Man. Well, it's an off-brand Music Man. It's a Sterling. But they play beautifully. Oh, and it looks beautiful.
Oh, it's just gorgeous. Is the neck really thin?
Yep. It's a really nice instrument.
Oh, yeah. I used to have it was a Squier HM Strat. It was red. It was my first guitar. And yeah, that thing was paper thin. You could just fly around on it.
Yep.
But my wife bought me the Fender Stratocaster with the humbuckers over there. And that was about too much money.
Yeah.
But so were you guys the ones that went on tour?
Nope, that was Terror We Fall.
That was Terror We Fall. Okay.
We went on, and Deadfield actually also did a similar tour after that.
Okay.
But the only one that I was on anyway was the Terror We Fall one. That one was really fun. We went out to Oregon, and then scooped down through California, and then shot back through Utah.
Where'd you guys hit up in California?
Hollywood
Bowl,
Yeah, we played Anaheim actually on New Year's Eve, and then got to go to a New Year's party in, like, an outskirt of LA that night.
Oh, wow.
At some, like, rich people's house who just hit us up, and they're like, you want to come? Apparently they, like, were friends with our guitarist's mom, Chandler. And they just hit us up, and they invited us to their New Year party. So we got to go party in California on New Year's.
Did you guys do the 3, 10, 9,
Yep,
8, 7?
yep. We showed up, like,
Oh, yeah.
2 minutes before that happened.
Everyone was already gathered, watching the countdown.
Are you guys, like, planning another tour? Like a tour of Scared of the Dark?
Yes, it's in the works right now. We can't really say much on it yet.
Oh.
It's still just it's still being scheduled and whatnot, but we will be touring this summer.
Nice. Well, I need to figure out Silver Screen Showdown so I can plan it around you so you can get in on some of it again.
Absolutely.
And you too, if you want. I mean, I don't know if you're...
Yeah, me and Chris are really the only movie guys in the house. Everyone else isn't quite as well versed.
So I know that you guys are musicians and I'm a musician, but I have to ask, like, and nobody that I've asked has seen it. Have either of you guys seen the new Joker trailer?
Yes.
We both
Oh my
watched
goodness,
it.
I have had that high on my radar ever since I heard Joaquin Phoenix was going to be playing the Joker. Like, that just sounds like a match made in heaven. Like,
and everything, it just, like the Jared Leto Joker, there was so many, like, I just don't know about that and everything, but every single thing about this has just played out perfectly for me. Joaquin Phoenix is the Joker, awesome. Then you got that initial like makeup test that they released, and I was like, and then after that I was like, I'm not gonna watch any more shit. Yeah, I want to be completely. But then I saw the trailer online, and I was like, fuck this.
Yeah,
I'm watching this, and it was honestly, dude, I've seen so many trailers, man, and it's one of the greatest trailers I've ever seen.
Yeah. It seems like they kind of read the pulse of the entire fan base pretty well. And everyone's like, hey, maybe a character-driven Joker movie would be pretty cool. And they're like, all right, we are on that. So I'm happy that they're just kind of listening to what the internet's saying.
Well, and I'm like really... I saw, like, there's a meme that I shared the other day that was like, 1989 Joker... toss him into some chemicals.
Yeah.
And then 2019 Joker, toss him into society. And it's,
oh
my God.
As a meme.
Ooh, I didn't see that one.
It looks so good. And I've watched it like probably 10 times now, and I'm just amazed by it.
I think Jake is about ready to freaking kill me for how many times I've played it on our living room TV.
So you guys all live together?
Yep.
Yeah.
We have a band house.
A band in Redfield?
In Redfield.
Nice.
It's fun.
It's pretty nice.
Me and Jake both work in Tulare, and then Chris works here at Leo's, and
you still working at the Leo's?
Yeah.
Right on.
And then Taylor is holed up at the grocery store here in town.
Oh, okay.
Yep. She runs the dairy department there now.
She runs it?
Yeah, she is the captain.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome. Oh, crap. I just had a question and now I forgot it. Well, just, like, what... You guys are... I mean, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you guys?
I'm 20, he is 19.
Okay. So you guys are another generation past mine. People call me a millennial still. I don't feel like a millennial.
See, people call us at Gen Z, but we feel like millennials.
I think you guys are more millennial. I think millennials are the people that don't remember a time when there wasn't the internet.
Yeah. I would say if on the timeline we're technically Gen Z, we identify mentally as millennials for sure.
Yeah.
So, just because I've kind of stuck with... I looked for music for a long time, and I kept finding new music for a long time, then I just kind of stopped. Mm-hmm. And now I just kind of listen to the Grateful Dead all the time.
Yeah.
So what kind of music is out there now that you guys are into?
There's actually a lot of good stuff coming out. There's a band out of the UK called While She Sleeps. They are a political metal band, and they just dropped a record called So What. That was probably one of my favorite records of the year so far. There's a band called Bring Me the Horizon, who just released this really, like, weird... They used to be this, like, deathcore band who did, like too heavy for me kind of shit. And now they're doing this really, like, moody pop stuff that's really weird, and it's very experimental, but it's extremely good. Like, and well written. So those are a couple of records that I really appreciated in 2019.
One that just recently came out by a pop artist, actually. Her name is Billie Eilish. Heard of her at all? She's 17 years old. She's 17 years old. She's got a good million followers on her Instagram. She's been doing it.
It's got to be more than a million.
Yeah, she's been doing it since she was 14, 15. She just dropped this record, and it was called
When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go?
Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? And it is probably my favorite pop album.
Just ever?
Ever.
That's honestly not inaccurate.
Is this like something that they play on like 106.7 and stuff like that?
You might catch a couple singles from it on there.
Possibly.
But
some of the one of the new bands that I really have a lot of respect for, and I actually saw them by accident, was the Struts.
Really?
Have you guys ever heard of the Struts?
I think I've heard the name.
Oh, you guys should. There's a song out there called "Kiss This," which is and there's a song called "Merry-Go-Round." Those are kind of my two favorites. But they just did a song with, of all people, Kesha.
Really?
Whoa.
Yeah. What the hell was it called?
Struts with Kesha.
Yeah, the Struts with Kesha. Fuck. I'm gonna be. You could be cool. You could be me. Your body talks. Your body talks. Yeah.
I think I might have heard that.
Yeah, it was on the radio for a while there a couple months ago and stuff. But the Struts, I went to the Foo Fighters in Sioux Falls. It was, I'm not a huge Foo Fighters fan. Like, I'm not, but I'm a huge Dave Grohl fan. Like, anybody who's in the Tenacious D movie, I'll go and see.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
But the Struts opened for them, and it was like, the moment I first saw him, like, the guy comes out, whatever the hell, Lucas Strutt or whatever his name is, the lead singer, and he looks like Freddie Mercury.
Really?
And has the get up, and he actually had the woman that made a lot of like the frilly stuff for Bowie and Freddie Mercury and stuff.
Wow.
He actually had her make him like 3 of them and stuff like that. But he came out, they just fucking rocked my mind. That was really good. But that's kind of one of those new ones. But like, what do you guys think of Greta Van Fleet? I have to ask that.
I will preface this by saying I haven't listened to very much of it. I've seen a lot of people defend them very staunchly. However, I find myself siding with the group that says they're kind of ripping Led Zeppelin a little bit. But at the same time, I'm not really one to talk bad on an artist. So
I just kind of wanted your general opinion. What do you think, Chris? Like,
I like them. The first time I listened to them, I liked them. But then I'm like, I've heard this before. Is this?
Well, like, okay, so I've been when somebody says you need to check out this band, I watch them live as much as I can because you can do a lot of shit in the studio.
Yeah.
And I learned my lesson with Blink-182. Because I went to a Blink-182 concert once upon a time, and they suck live, like, badly. But I always loved their albums and shit, so now it's like... So I watched a lot of their late night, they go on, I wanted to say Letterman. They went on Kimmel or, Conan or whatever. And I watched like 5 or 6 of these things, and... Yeah, the drum is a little Zeppelin-ish. I can hear that, and like the high, or not the hi-hat, but the snare is just, they have it tweaked to just that tone, but as far as that dude's voice, it is a dude, right?
Tom DeLonge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, Tom?
I think he's back on Greta Van
Fleet.
I'm back on Greta Van Fleet.
Yeah.
That is a...
That is a dude.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yes. He's very talented.
Well, and live, I just not so much, because then I had to go back and listen to some of their studio work, and it was like it was significantly better. And and then I saw the Led Zeppelin stuff, and I was like, man, Robert Plant had the voice of an angel.
Yeah.
And this guy is like Robert Plant had sex with Axl Rose.
Yeah.
And that's what you got.
Yeah, I think you're gonna get something like that with anyone who's kind of emulating the sound of a classic band like that. There's always going to be, well, the original band did this better, and they kind of sounded better in this regard, and I think that's almost always going to be the case when you're comparing them retroactively like that.
So old school shit.
Mm-hmm.
What are you guys? What did you guys grow up? What do you consider some of the things that really made you want to be rockers?
Jim Croce. You know who Jim Croce
Interesting.
is?
Yeah, I know Jim Croce.
My grandpa always played Jim Croce.
Nice.
And that was like one of the first country singers I ever actually really got into.
Huh.
When I was a little kid,
Jim Croce?
I would call him country. Yeah.
When I was a little kid, I listened to a lot of Christian music actually.
Those guys can wail, man.
Yeah,
Those
some of
guys
them
can fucking wail.
I was my dad was a pastor for a good chunk of my childhood, and so for that reason I was only allowed to listen to Christian music, like Christian rap, Christian rock. If it was any genre, it had to be Christian, and I didn't really
send me some of that Christian rap. That sounds interesting.
There's a Christian rapper who goes by the name KJ52, and he has an entire track about his addiction to Mountain Dew. It kind of bangs, honestly. But yeah, I didn't actually really get the chance to start exploring music until I was about a freshman in high school.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's when I started listening to like Of Mice and Men and some of those like classic metalcore bands from like the 2009 era, and like older emo from like the like Fall Out Boy, My Chemical Romance era. And I think a lot of that is where Scared of the Dark finds its roots, is in the classic emo. I guess classic, referring to 2009, makes us sound like friggin' youngsters.
10 years old, man.
Yeah.
10 years old, man.
Yeah.
That's a decade.
Give it another 15 years and those people will be up for Rock and Roll Hall of Fame shit.
Yeah, for sure.
Isn't that 25 years that you have to wait? Like, I think it's 25 years after your first #1 album or something like that.
Really?
Something like that.
I did not know that.
But I mean, it's not like they get inducted right away.
Mm-hmm.
Like fucking Genesis, they didn't get inducted until like 2009 or something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That was cool. Fish inducted them into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I'm a big Fish head.
That's rad.
But like drummers, guitar players, who was your guys' influences?
Going back to, I mentioned Of Mice and Men, I really looked up to Alan Ashby. He plays, I believe, rhythm guitar in Of Mice and Men, and he's got a big old red locks that are just cool. He's a cool dude. Dude smokes hella pot.
That whole band kind of.
Yeah.
I mean,
They're kind of stoner metal a little bit. And I would say my biggest influence is a guy who's actually still working right now. So is Alan Ashby. But a guy by the name of Justin DeBleek. He plays guitar for a band called Ice Nine Kills. They're my personal favorite band of all time.
I've seen you kind of schlep their stuff on Facebook.
Yeah, I will schlep their stuff anywhere I can schlep things. But yeah, that guy, he's a big old guy with a beard who plays Music Man guitars, so he is a man after my own heart.
Yeah, I'm a big guy, and I'm always happy when I see the big boys up there.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Warren Haynes?
I have.
Oh, yep. God. Like, my brother-in-law was a carpenter, house builder forever, and his fingers look like sausages, and he's like, I never learned how to play the guitar. I'm like, look at this guy.
Yeah.
Like Warren Haynes up there shredding like Jimmy.
Sausage fingers.
So what about drummers?
Yeah, back to Mice and Men. That was like some of the first stuff I ever listened to when we first started Terror We Fall, and the drummer, Valentino Arteaga. I had to remember his name. He's been with them for as long as they've been a band. And has Alan?
Alan joined, I believe, right before the Flood album released.
That's what I thought. And also Ice Nine Kills, their old drummer. He's a huge. He's not the same drummer anymore. Does not drum for Ice Nine Kills anymore. But Connor Sullivan. He's a drum god.
I know the exact moment that I wanted to play the guitar. And it was like my mom's boyfriend at the time. He sat me down and he goes, Tone, and this is how he talks. He's like, if you want to get the babes, you gotta learn how to play like Eddie Van Halen. And he went out, and I was like, I don't know who that is. And he was like, we're going to Target right now. We're gonna go buy the first Van Halen album that we did. And we picked up the first one, and it was an album called Fair Warning, and the opening track on that is a track called Mean Street.
Ooh.
And fucking just that opening riff, man. All of a sudden, I was like, "Yep, that's what I want to do." And I still don't know how to play that riff. I'm a really good rhythm guitar player, but I'm a terrible lead guitar player.
Me too. I wrote this entire new record, like, just banging out rhythm guitar parts and mostly just saving the leads for I'll fucking do it later. And
I just, every time that I sit down, like I know the solo to Roadhouse Blues from the Doors and Sublime's What I Got. I think that might be about it. Like maybe a little bit of Johnny Be Good. And that was my love of Back to the Future.
Yes.
Like Chuck Berry, yes, but like no, Calvin fucking Klein, man. Like Calvin Klein ripping that 335 on stage to Johnny Be Good was another moment where I was just like, I gotta get on stage and do that shit. That's so are you guys releasing like a whole album then soon?
Yep.
How many tracks? Can you tell us that?
It is 10 tracks long. A couple of them are like transition tracks, so it's more of an 8-track. But we wrote it. That's really what the last year of our life has been, is writing and producing and getting ready for this record. Because we founded Scared of the Dark in February of 2018.
Yep.
And we picked up and started writing. And it'll be coming out here soon. The album's called Something to Burn. By Scared of the Dark.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Something to Burn.
Something to Burn. We're actually thinking, since Bernie's running in 2020, we're going to make Something to Burn. Ow. Something to Burn shirts.
That'd be awesome, man.
Yeah.
Like white with like the Bernie lettering and shit. I would totally buy one of those.
Yeah. Seems like a perfect idea.
So, is this stuff that's like your guys' emotions and day-to-day things, or are you guys like writing songs about completely, out of your world shit?
It's a little bit of both. It's actually a concept album. The album follows. I also like concept albums. The album follows like a whole story from beginning to end, and the story in itself is completely fictional, but we've weaved quite a few themes and metaphors into the story that kind of are our own like kind of political ideas and I would say philosophical ideas. Just kind of into the story and what a lot of the things represent.
Am I sitting here with Gilmore and Waters and shit? Like, or I guess it'd be Gilmore and Mason. Do you guys ever get into Floyd? Like,
not really. I guess it was before our time.
Well, it was before my time. But I mean, honestly, man, you guys got to go. I wouldn't start at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
The original Syd Barrett. Oh my God, what was the name of that album? I don't remember now. Piper at the Gates of Dawn. It was really like weird Beatles poppy shit, and I'm not a big Beatles poppy dude. Like, I like some Beatles music, but it is not the "She Loves You, Yeah, Yeah." Oh my God, kill me. Yeah. But like, if you go into like, seriously, dude, The Wall. Just, See,
that's the one I keep hearing about.
I don't know if you guys smoke pot, but if you don't, you need to, and you need to sit down and listen to The Whole Wall from start to finish.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
And I mean, like, that is the ultimate concept album, is The Wall.
That's what I've heard.
And like, I've had it in my truck for years, and that's it's always. My wife puts in Mumford and Sons, and she puts in this and that and the other thing, and it's all good, but it's like, I get back in there, I'm like, nope, pop the wall back.
Yeah, I actually really like Mumford and Sons.
I love
Mumford and Sons is great. I would also love to see them live.
I would not, I'm not a huge fan of that the Wilder Mind album. I just thought that it was...
Yeah, it was, they tried to do something with that, and I really respect what they tried to do with it. Yeah. I just don't think it was for me.
Yeah, there wasn't, nothing really stood out.
Yeah.
To me, but then this newer one, I think it's called Delta.
I actually haven't listened to it yet.
It's a mixture of the old shit and the Wilder Mind.
That's what I've been hearing on the internet.
And it was really, it was decent. And it was like, it took me a while to get into Mumford & Sons, because at first I was like, it all sounds the same to me.
Yeah.
And I'm a Grateful Dead guy, you know? Like, I'm used to complicated old blues shit, you know? And at first when I heard it, I was like, it's not really, I don't like country music. And my wife's like, it's not country music. You know? And she's like, if it's anything, it's like old country music and shit, but poppier, folkier.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, Mumford is, if I could go back in time and see a live performance, I would love to go back to their Red Rocks show. Like,
yeah.
We watch that on YouTube all the time, and it's like, God, because I went to Red Rocks and saw the String Cheese Incident, and I can only imagine what Mumford would sound like there.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
That'd be super sick.
If you guys could go back to a concert, what would it be? If you guys even have one on, you know.
I do. It was my first ever concert. My dad took me there. Me and my little brother. It was the Marshall Tucker Band.
A lot of country roots here coming out, man.
But it was 2012, and we were coming back from Montana. And in Rapid City, right on Main Street, they set it up. All the bars were open. They were making money, and the band was playing for free, actually, too. It worked out really well.
The Marshall Tucker Band was playing for free?
For free. Well,
interesting.
All the bars were paying them because they were open and everything. So yeah.
Nice. I never really gotten into the Marshall Tucker Band, but you know, from what I hear, it's good old country, and that's I just don't like that. You know, Toby Keith, how you like me now? Put a boot in your ass, you know, like that kind of stuff. There what's a concert that you might want to go back and see?
It's less of a specific concert, but I'd love to go to one of the like early Warped tours, like from the 90s, when it was still like skater punk and all that fun stuff. I'd like to see like the roots of Warped Tour, because I went to Warped Tour, I think 4 or 5 times.
I remember you going to it, like not even that, like a few years ago.
Yeah, we just went.
2018 was the last.
Yeah, we went to the 2018 Warped Tour.
Nice.
So like I've been like 4 or 5 times, but it was always in the like new age, where it was metal and like indie and alt and like all these different things. But I've been told that like the roots of Warped Tour are just like skate punk kind of shit. I think that'd be really cool to just go see.
You guys get into NoFX?
We have I haven't really, but we actually have a friend.
Huge.
Yeah.
Huge enough.
He was the guy who played guitar for Deadfield, Leland Kirschman.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's way into that kind of stuff.
Yeah. There was a guy, we used to have parties. Every year we'd have a party. We're actually thinking about doing it again, but every year we'd have a big, because we don't party, we don't do anything. But every year we'd have a party, and like people would come from all over the place, just kind of like Silver Screen, you know.
Yeah.
All my friends would come into state, and we'd have this huge blowout party. And this one guy, his name was Curtis, and for like 3 years in a row, he's like, you got to put on the Decline. It's like an 18-minute long punk song and stuff like
really?
that. And we'd always play fucking beer pong and shit. Oh, but like, if you guys, I don't know if you guys even get into this. I'm sure you guys do, but there's I'm really into the North Mississippi All-Stars, if you guys have ever heard of them.
I don't think I have.
Deep blues, like Louisiana blues.
Oh, okay.
And they're brothers, the drummer and the guitar player, Luther Dickinson, and his, I can't remember his fucking brother's name now, but he's hell of a good slide guitar player. But, so, I really, really like their stuff, and then I was like, one day I was looking up some stuff about the Black Crowes, and then I realized that from like 2008 to like 2011, Luther Dickinson played guitar for the Black Crowes. I'm like, I got to see that right now.
Yeah.
So I looked it up, and have you guys ever heard of the Newport Folk Festival?
Newport.
It's like,
I don't believe so.
It's like that's like where Dylan like kind of got his big name and shit like that back in like Bob Dylan and stuff.
Oh, okay.
But it's like, my dad was telling me it's like this exclusive festival that like the only way you can get in is if you come with somebody who's been there before.
Really?
And then like the next year, then you're grandfathered in and shit like that. But it's really hard to just go to it. But I found a Newport Folk Festival, Black Crowes 2008, and it's just, oh, if I could go back to one show, it's either that or like old Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
I love Black Sabbath. And that was another thing I was going to say, like, I like the fact that you guys have a girl singing.
We also really like that
It
fact.
works.
I've always wanted to have a Black Sabbath cover band or just a metal band in general where a girl was up there doing that shit, because, you know, you're always like, wow, these guys can hit these fucking notes, and it's like, there's like, I used to be a huge fan of, they were a metal band called Drain STH. They were from Sweden. All
Really?
female.
Swedish metal band?
All female, and they rocked the shit, man. They were awesome. If you guys ever have a chance, check out Drain STH. They're
Definitely.
Crack the Liar Smile. They did a remake of Motorhead's fucking Ace of Spades. Whoa. And all. Yeah, man, it's really good. Drain STH. Check them out. They're really cool. But yeah, I've always wanted to have a band with a girl lead singing metal music.
Yeah,
not, you know.
It really changed up the way that we approached a lot of our writing, I think.
Oh yeah, and it's definitely worked in our favor, because like a lot of the music that we've also been listening to and like watching come out, like new for 2019, a lot of female fronted bands.
There's been a huge surge of female fronted in the alt metal scene at the very least.
Definitely.
So how did it affect your guys' writing?
We had a little bit more freedom with the melodies that we were putting together, because when we would write Terror We Fall stuff, I'm like a nice baritone at best. So when we started really going up there in those melodies, we would either have to tune the song down or I would have to fucking die on stage. Like those were really our only two options. And so going into that with Taylor, we really had a much higher ceiling on where we could take melodies, and that really gave us much better ways to explore the key that we're writing in and really kind of mess with the octaves and really bring about new feels with that ability.
That's cool.
So
I really like how, I mean, there's so many bands that are really good, but there's up there just, you know, I really like how animated you guys are. Like, you guys could put on a fucking stadium show if you guys wanted to, man. Like,
we pride ourselves in that. We the way we see it, we're young kids, and if we're ever going to perform our hearts out, it's going to be right the fuck now.
Fuck yeah, man.
So
well, and like, I don't know if anybody knows this, but I actually got these guys like one of their first gigs.
Not the first gig we played, but the first one we booked.
Yep, and you know, I look back on that Pumped Up Kicks that I posted on Tube Review, and it's like, you look so young. You guys really do. Like, you know, you guys still got your fucking spots, man.
Yeah, it feels like an eternity ago that stuff was happening.
What was that, 2014 or 15 or something?
It was somewhere around there. It would have been about 15. Yeah. We founded Terror We Fall the summer before our sophomore year in high school. So.
Well, and you guys have been like, I remember like my kids getting like Terror We Fall guitar picks and shit like that.
Yeah.
And just like, oh, you know this band? And I'm like, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
That was, yeah, man. But I'm happy that you guys are still like, you guys seem like, you know, besties.
Oh yeah,
you know?
Definitely.
We went since kindergarten.
Yeah, me and Chris have been best friends since kindergarten.
That's good.
And
this is my man since day one.
We went to college together for a month.
For 1 month.
Did you guys quit college together?
Yes.
We fucking did.
You guys like sit down in your guys' dorm room and like have a discussion. Be like,
we had multiple. We'd talk about it like every day at the fucking cafeteria.
We'd be like, when are we going?
When are we leaving? And then we actually booked this huge show with this band called We Came as Romans. Yeah. We got thrown on this show last second, and like we loved this band.
Where was that at?
It was in Sioux Falls.
Nice.
What happened was some other band wasn't able to play it, and they dropped off last second, and we quick messaged a guy we knew at that venue, and like, can we get on the show? He's like, I suppose. So we got super lucky, and we booked that show, and we got to hang out with this band that we loved, and we got back from that experience, and we're like, okay, so we're quitting college right the fuck now.
Is there anybody that like you guys used to hate, like you used to you know, not particularly care for but now as you've grown to respect them, and you've actually grown to like them as musicians? Like, is there any band out there that rings a bell in that?
Actually, if you ever heard of My Chemical Romance, the first few times I listened to them, I'm like, what is this garbage? And it grew on me over time, and they've kind of turned into one of my favorite bands. Their music is definitely something that you really got to get, and if you don't get it when you're listening to it, you're not going to enjoy it. So it was something I had to kind of figure out a little bit before I could really start to enjoy it.
I might have to check them out. When you first said it, I was like, oh yeah, they did that Black Rock and Beat. No, that's Chemical Brothers.
Yeah, they did. Their most famous work was an album called The Black Parade.
But what's the best work? I don't care what the Billboard says.
That's definitely their best work.
That's the best one. Okay.
For sure. Yeah, that is why it's their most famous work, is because everyone's like, yeah, this is one of the best like emo albums ever created. So,
it has the song.
How about you, Chris?
I'm open to everything.
Chris is who you go to when you discover a small band, and he will be like, oh yeah, I figured them out like 4 months ago. Here's the stuff you should listen to.
I liked them before they were cool.
Yeah, I'm that guy.
No, I don't know if you guys. I'm sure you guys know who John Mayer is.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But like 2005. God, you guys were probably like 10. But
in 2005, I was 7.
I was 5.
Damn.
6.
Well, I was shroomed out at 10,000 Lakes in Minnesota, and I remember sitting there and like, it's a hippie festival. There's hippie bands there.
Yeah.
They have John Mayer headlining one of them.
Really?
One of the nights, and I was sitting there at my campsite like, fuck this, I'm not going to that fucking poser. Fuck him. His mouth looks like a vagina when he sings. And like, I hated him. But now, ever since he got, like, I've been seeing him, he sits in with Clapton, he sits in with B.B. King, he sits in with this and that, and then all of a sudden, Dead and Company picks him up, and now the Grateful Dead have John Mayer up there, and it's like, fucking come here to Uncle John's band, man.
Yeah.
Like,
John Mayer's a really talented guy. He was recently on this show called Hot Ones. Have you ever heard of that show?
No.
It's a YouTube show where they bring celebrities on and they eat increasingly spicier wings until they get to like the hottest hot sauce ever created. And he was on that show, and he like, they gave him a ukulele and they're like, just freestyle something for us. And he was just doing this like complicated shit on the ukulele. And it was insane. Just off the top of his head, fucking high off fucking hot wings.
Oh, I'm sure. Have you guys heard that newer one that New Light?
I don't think so.
Give me just one night.
Oh, I recognize it, I think. Was that the one that he did like a music video for?
Yeah, and it was like super cheesy.
Yeah.
Like he went to some like music video production company in Hollywood, and they just
I have heard that one.
The story behind that is like the guitar solo in there. He came into the studio and like somebody came up to him and like, John, Prince's guitar is here. You know, after Prince died, Prince's guitar is here, and he was like, really? Yeah. They're like, do you want to play it? And he was like, I'm gonna lay down the fucking solo to my song with this guitar. And so when you hear that solo, it's like, yes, like that's a Prince fucking guitar. Right
that's sick. I did not know that.
Sick. Did you guys ever see Prince do "While My Guitar Gently Weeps"? When he died, it was all over Facebook. Like it was him and Tom Petty and fucking Clapton.
Yeah, if it was all over Facebook, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, we probably stumbled across it.
After he died, yeah, he did "While My Guitar Gently Weeps" with a bunch of people and shit, and like George Harrison's kid was there. It looks just like fucking George Harrison. But it's like all of a sudden Prince comes out. I know he's a guitar player, but like he comes out and he shreds the fucking shit out of this song. And then at the end, he throws his guitar in the air, and it never comes down. And everybody on stage, you'll hear, like, you can find interviews with them, they're like, nobody knows what happened to that guitar. He threw it up in the air, and nobody knows what happened to it. It just never came down. And you watch, like, multiple videos of this, and people's cell phone videos of this, and everything, and you don't see the fucking guitar fall. It's like, he just tossed it up to heaven, like, I'll be up there in a couple of years, bud. Oh my God.
Fuck.
Yeah. Prince. How did we get to Prince? I don't know.
What a man.
What a dude. But yeah, we're gonna take a quick break, and we're going to listen to a little bit of some of Scared of the Dark's. What song are we going to listen to?
This is our debut single. It is a track called "Are You Home," and it is the third track on our brand new record, "Something to Burn."
Is that the one that I've been seeing on?
It's not. That is actually a track called "A Work of Art."
Okay.
That is a completely different track that will not be a single off the record, so you'll have to wait until the record comes out to hear it.
Right on. So this is a little snippet of Scared of the Dark, Oh, don't worry about it, man. I'll just pop it in really quick. This is a little single from Scared of the Dark. Check it out right now. And we're back to the Dakota Podcasting Experience, sitting down with Scared of the Dark members Christopher Shine, or Chris Shine, does it matter?
Chris Shine works.
And Brandon Bruce. Brandon Bruce, if you guys didn't know this, I don't know, man. I'm pretty sure, you had the most points.
I believe in the Marvel episode.
Yeah, you had the most points in all of Silver Screen Showdown history.
I'm very proud of that. I have my trophy, like, displayed above my TV in my home.
Nice.
So
I'm honored. I got mine right up there.
I saw that.
Yeah, that's the one that I won for the finale.
Nice.
And, but little did you guys know, there actually a lost episode of Silver Screen Showdown, and I'm not going to say what the theme of it was, but Brandon was also in that one too.
I was.
My cameras were fucked up, and I'm still trying to tweak it so I can actually release it, but it is almost unreleasable.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Because I was trying to use a GoPro or something like that.
Yeah, I remember that.
And Mike, I'm really sorry, but that GoPro sucked.
It was doing some weird shit.
For what I needed it for, and yeah. And then I was trying to do some zooming pans with my other hand. It's like, Tony, you got way too much on your plate.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I would love to have you guys... But this is going to be nothing but general movie knowledge.
That'll be interesting because I know that you're a bit more
themes this time because my viewership went for my themed episodes.
Yeah,
so, yeah, I'm going to do general movie knowledge. So you guys,
okay.
I'll give you maybe I'll give you guys one of the categories beforehand.
Okay,
I'll be like, okay,
that might be helpful.
Here's one of the categories. Yeah, it's sci-fi film. Study out.
We'll just have to watch all the classics then. Your Alien, your Predator, your Alien
v
Predator. What people
understand is they just need to look at my movie shelf and be like, well, this is where all the questions are coming from. It's right up here.
That's fair. I recognize most of them, but there's quite a few that I haven't seen for sure.
Yeah, I've been really lazy about buying movies lately, and I used to go to pawn shops all the time because you get 10 for $5 or something.
I used to do that when I was a bit younger, and when DVDs were the only way that I had to watch movies. Pawn shops were my fucking heaven. Yeah. I'd fucking get my dad to take me, and he'd be like, "All right, you got $10 to spend." I'm like, "All right, so 30 movies sounds good."
That's where I got this bitch.
Really?
Oh yeah, I got her at a pawn shop for $30.
Really?
Didn't work. They said it worked.
Yeah.
But it didn't work. I plugged it in, and actually, to this day, I don't think input 1 works.
Really?
But input 2 works. I had the guys at Engels put some new shit in it, and then if you can see it from back there, it says chorus, but the US, I actually had to white it with fingernail polish because it was all. But yeah, man, this thing's a chunky little bitch.
It looks cool.
But yeah, the greatest amp I ever played through was called a Fender Stage 160. It was 160 watts.
Really?
Yeah, and it was a little tiny bit bigger. It just had the twin 12 Celestials, or Celestians, whatever the hell you call them, the speakers inside. But yeah, man, and it had a bunch of onboard effects and everything. But then I got broke and I pawned it. Never fucking saw it again.
Fuck.
Yeah. And actually, I found out later on because I called Fender. And I asked him, can I still get one of these things? Because I couldn't even find them online. These days I can find them online for about $250. But I said, I know what it was. It had 2 inputs, and it was the DSP. And he goes, are you sure it had 2 inputs? And I was like, yeah. I got pictures of it. And he goes, and it was a DSP. And I was like, yeah. He's like, because they made a model that wasn't a DSP. I was like, yes, it had the onboard effects. That's what the DSP was. Mm-hmm. He was like, and you don't have it anymore? And I'm like, no. And he's like, well, that's a shame. And I'm like, why is that? And he goes, because we never made them with 2 inputs. That was a factory error. Did they both work? And I was like, yeah, my buddy and I used to plug into the same amp. And he was like, oh, that thing's worth a lot of money.
Oh, no.
I'm like, well, fuck, shit. Oh, my God. I want somebody who bought my Fender Stage 160 from West Side Pawn in Aberdeen to give it back to me. I'll pay you for it. It's not worth anything. I just gave it away. But
we actually just recently got a new amp for our live show. Well, a cabinet. The amp itself is actually a Kemper that we have in our traveling rack case.
Oh, you guys got a rack, huh?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's we just finished it actually. We just put our in-ear monitors, our wireless in-ear monitors into it, and that was the finishing touch for it.
Dude, it'll never be finished.
Yeah, no,
it'll never be finished.
Just that rack specifically is finished.
No, that rack still won't be finished. You're not finished. Right. Someday you're like, no, I'm gonna take this out. I'm gonna put this fucker in because
you're right. Man. But for now, it's finished. It's ready for our live show at this point.
So what kind of amp would you prefer? If money wasn't an object.
We are currently playing through orange cabs.
Oh, is that pretty nice?
Yes, they're very nice, especially for the scene that we're playing in. They make a really it's kind of them and a company called Mesa are kind of the...
Oh, like Mesa Boogie?
Yeah.
Or Boogie?
They are kind of the competitors, as far as I've seen. I've seen some Marshalls, but, I don't really like Marshalls very much.
I've never actually plugged into one. Well, I think I came over to your house when you still lived at home, yeah. And I think I actually played through a Marshall there.
I think that's correct. We did have Marshall cabs.
But yeah, I really need to sit down for an hour and actually dig into an amp before I know if I like it or not. So,
but everything I've looked through for the stuff that we play, orange is really the way to go. We were having some issues dialing in our live tone through our Marshall cabinets, and we plugged in the orange cabinet for the first time, and it sounded amazing. It was friggin' rad. It sounded like I was shredding through a $2,000 amp. Turns out I was just shredding through the $2,000 amp modeler in our fucking rack. But
speaking of $2,000 amps, mine, I keep going back to the website, and I really just want 5150 from Eddie Van Halen. He makes his own amps. Yep. And those things are just nuts.
5150s are a pretty popular head in metal right now. There's quite a few bands that use 5150s.
Eddie Van Halen fucking rocks.
I believe we actually modeled a 5150 through our Kemper for the new record.
You guys know what 5150 stands for, don't you? You know why they use that?
I don't believe so.
It's the police code for escape mental patient.
Really?
Yep.
That's sick.
5150.
Yep, 5150 escape mental patient.
I'll have to tell Jake that.
Next time I see one of you guys, you'll have it tattooed. 5150.
Right across my knuckles, actually. 5150.
Yeah, I don't know what I would get on my knuckles. I really don't know.
So yeah, when you hear the record, you will be hearing a digital version of a 5150.
What do you play? What?
Actually, I just ordered a custom SJC kit. I've been looking up to that company since I first started drumming. They're the biggest drum company out there. They got shell sets that have 2 floor toms, a high tom, and a bass drum for $2,000. No cymbals, no hardware, nothing. I got a 3-piece for $600. They were on sale, and these are some of the best drums out there. Almost everyone in the scene uses them, at least our scene.
We actually know a guy in a band called Wolfskin out of Sioux Falls who's sponsored by SJC, so we're hoping to get a word in.
Coming my way.
Actually, their singer features on the new record. He is on...
You got a special guest?
Yeah, special guest. He's on one of the tracks, and he absolutely kills it. Well, I shouldn't say singer. I should say screamer. But
oh, come on. He probably thinks he's a singer.
We actually asked him if he wanted to sing on a low gain mix version, a kind of a toned down version of the track that we put him on, and he had told us that he really only has experience screaming right now. So
that works.
Yeah.
Screamers.
Yeah, you'll actually be hearing quite a bit of screaming on the new record.
I'm good with that. I'm always up for new stuff as long as it's not, I don't know, man. I have specific tastes in certain ways. I don't like new country. I don't like Florida Georgia line.
Yeah.
You know, fucking walking around with the load in my pants. It's poop. Isn't that what it is? No.
We definitely tried to push that for this record too. We wanted to relate to everyone on that. So there's definitely a song for everyone on that album. Definitely, there are some heavy hitting tracks on that album. And
yeah, we literally go from piano balladry to just dum 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 digga 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 digga, like shredding your face off, and it's all fully orchestral. Like there's a full orchestra behind all of it.
Yes.
Who'd you get to do that?
Myself and Jake did it.
Really?
Yeah.
You guys have woodwind like?
No, we did it all digitally.
Nice.
We got this UVI orchestra suite that just loads right into our DAW. And we just did it all MIDI.
You guys know way more about this shit.
we had to learn quite a bit for this new record because the producer that we worked with out of Kansas City, a guy named Brett Lieber, super nice guy, super talented guy. We had to record all of our guitars at home through our Kemper. This was just kind of a money-saving thing, so we didn't have to go there and record the whole album in Kansas City. We recorded all the drums and the guitars at home, sent them to him, and then we drove out there and just did a week straight of vocals.
That was in the cities?
Yep, Kansas City.
Oh, Kansas City.
Kansas City. We were staying in Missouri, and we would drive right over the line to Kansas to
I used to
his
live in
place every
Columbia,
day.
Missouri, which is about 90 miles east of Kansas City on that same interstate and shit. Yeah.
We went there during apparently one of the worst blizzards that Missouri has seen in a long time.
Oh, they probably got 2 inches of snow.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
They got like 2 inches of snow, and like power was out at our Airbnb. Like a pipe exploded up the road, and like people weren't like moving their cars. They all just stayed inside and hoped it would all melt soon, and like nobody was moving snow.
Yeah.
So it stayed, like, undrivable, because it was just this thick, wet snow.
Yeah.
And
There
it was
were
literally
trees
undrivable.
everywhere in the road.
Yeah, apparently the wind
Trees were
was super
falling
bad.
everywhere.
Yeah, see, like, dude, when I used to live there, they called off school for, like, a week after they got, like, 2 inches of snow, and it was bullshit snow.
Yeah.
It was gone in 4 or 5 days. And, like, people were in the ditch. I'm like, don't you guys have snowplows? They're like, yeah, he's out there. I'm like, he? Like, singular? Like, like, this is a town of 100,000 fucking people, man. Like, you have one fucking snowplow?
Yeah, they were horrifyingly unprepared.
Yeah. There was actually, it was really cool. Like, the high school that I went to was, it was the rich high school, but I was not the rich kid.
Yeah.
But, like, my first couple weeks of school, my sophomore year, they called off school for a week because none of the other schools had air conditioning. And it was like 110 degrees outside. And they called off school for everybody, so we got school called off too, even though we had air conditioning.
Really?
Yeah, it was like, what? Like, I've never gotten out of school because of the heat. Like,
that happened a couple times when we were in... Well, I think it was closer to, like, elementary when that actually regularly happened. Because I don't think Redfield had any sort of air conditioning for a long time there.
I couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
And, you know, even though they got this, like, what was it, like $25 million to build the new school, they probably still don't have air conditioning in
Wouldn't fucking shock me.
Dude, my kids come home, and they're like, hey, we gotta sell cookie dough so we can pay for the new playground. I'm like, you guys didn't budget that into $25 million? Like, you guys didn't budget a new playground?
And apparently, like, that, like, budget that they put up was not enough, and they've gone, like, horrifyingly over budget.
Oh, I can imagine.
And, like, apparently there are people quitting because they had to slash salaries and stuff.
Oh, that's fucking sad.
Yeah, it's super sad.
Well, and you guys being musicians, you guys would probably understand my outlook on this. When I was in high school, like, there was like 4 guidance counselors, and I went to go and see one, and she was like, well, this is the last time we're going to be able to meet because they're actually letting me go. And I was like, oh, shit, why is that? She's like, to make room for their $10 million practice football field.
Vom.
$10 million practice football field. And
Yeah.
they're like axing teachers for that. I was like, We got a beautiful fucking football. You don't need a practice field. Just go to a fucking dirt lot and fucking just practice some football.
Yeah, Redfield was kind of the same way. The sports teams would constantly be getting new shit, and the fucking chorus department was in the basement. Like, literally. Like, there was a drain that would, like, spit up stuff every once in a while.
Really?
We called him Igor.
Yes.
Oh, you had a name for the fucking...
Yeah. It would start gargling, and everyone would, like, sit back, because there was one time that it actually just...
Oh, god damn, dude.
Yeah.
Did you guys do any senior pranks?
I don't...
Well, it
I
wasn't
didn't
really a
Or if
senior
you guys
prank,
don't want to
but-
say it online.
I didn't participate in any of them. I didn't really hear
It was not a
about.
senior prank, but we did some pretty silly water balloon stuff.
Oh,
For
at
homecoming and
homecoming.
stuff, yeah.
When kids are out egging, we'd always fill water balloons with just this vile, disgusting crap that we would find in just the refrigerator. And we if anyone would throw eggs at us, we would then retaliate by hitting them with these disgustingly horrifying balloons. That would have, like, we would fill them with milk and, like, set them out for a couple days in, like, the heat. And, like, there would also be, like, maple syrup in there, and, like...
Egg and some
egg.
Oyster sauce, I remember.
But
and
we-
cocktail sauce.
God.
No, there was a lot of gross stuff in there.
Yeah.
But we always made a point to only throw them at people who would egg us first.
Yes.
We were like the vigilantes out there.
Yeah.
The vigil.
We had skylights in our school. Like I said, rich school. We had skylights in our school in, like, the commons area, and I was not a part of it, but a bunch of the guys went up and they like Mod Podge, like, glued this shit to the windows, but, like, all these Penthouse and Playboy photos and shit like that, just the most, like, and not even Playboy, like, nastier than Playboy, like Judd's magazine, you know, shit like that, Fields of Cream and shit.
Oh, God.
Terrible shit. And yeah, I remember just walking through like, oh, ain't that something? Yeah, that was fucking Jesus. Well, guys, I think we're gonna kind of wrap this up. Once again, I have Brandon Bruce and Chris Shine here from Scared of the Dark, and they have a new album coming out when?
It will be out in May.
In May, and the album is called
Something to Burn.
Something to Burn. So thank you guys. You
Thank
guys are my
you.
first guests.
This was an honor.
We saw that on
Yes,
Facebook.
we were
Love
ready.
to have you guys back.
Absolutely.
You know, yeah, I'm tickled pink that I have people that actually want to be on the show. And
Yeah.
so
We're glad to be
No,
here.
you shot me a message and I literally yelled to Chris. I'm like, hey,
Let's
you want to be
go.
on a podcast tonight? He's like, yes, let's go.
fuck yeah, dude.
Let's go.
That's awesome. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. And make sure you check out Scared of the Dark there on Facebook. I'm guessing Twitter,
I don't believe we have a Twitter quite yet, but we do have an Instagram.
Instagram. Okay.
At SOTD Rock.
SOTD Rock. And also check out got to plug my sponsor here, and that is Robert Mailing from the Sioux Empire podcast, and he's got the Edge Case podcast coming out in September, which is like a Twilight Zone-y podcast, which I'm really excited for. Yeah.
Did you see the new Twilight Zone?
Yeah, I haven't seen any of it yet, but I'm excited for it.
The first episode is free on YouTube right now.
Is it?
So, yeah, it's very good.
It's very good. Check
Very
out
good.
Black Mirror on Netflix.
Oh yeah.
Seen it,
Oh, yeah.
love it.
Okay, before we go, I have to say this. Okay?
Let's go.
A girl at work told me, she's like, you have to check out this Black Mirror show. She's like, it's kind of like a Twilight Zone thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I go to Netflix and I press play.
Yeah,
on
of
it.
course.
I just press play on it.
And that first episode.
Well, the first episode that came up was this episode about, like, it was almost like Star Trek-ish.
Oh, so they started you in, like, season 4 then.
Exactly. Like, I watched the Star Trek episode of it, and it was amazing.
It's
I
very good.
Fucking loved it. And so and then all of a sudden after that, I realized, oh shit, they started me on season 4, episode 1. I got to go back and watch season 1, episode 1. And so by this time, my wife got home. And I'm like, babe, we gotta watch this show. Oh my god, I just got done watching this, and it was like really super fucking awesome. And you gotta go watch this shit. And she's like, yeah, that sounds cool. So let's watch it. Excuse me. And then all of a sudden, we go back to season 1, episode 1, the pilot. And it's literally, if you haven't seen it, guys, it is the Prime Minister of England being blackmailed into having sex with a pig live on television.
It's wonderful.
It is.
It really is.
So like, you sit there and it's like at the beginning of the episode, they're like, oh, this isn't going to happen, sir. You know, we're going to do everything we can to make sure that this doesn't happen. We're going to get to the bottom of this, but by the end of the episode, it just consistently gets more of You might have to fucking do this, man.
You're probably gonna have to fuck that pig. There's
my wife. She like pauses it and she looks at me. She's like, "What the fuck are you watching?" And I was like, "I don't know. This is the pilot. Like, this is what they showed to Netflix to get them to want to make more shows." And it's like, this is fucked up.
They really fucking went for it.
Yeah, they really did. So yeah, check out Black Mirror. But we are going to get going on the Dakota Podcasting Experience. Check us out on Twitter at Dakota Podcast. Also as well on Facebook at Dakota Podcast. If you just type that in, then that'll lead you right to us. The Dakota Podcasting Experience. If you need to email me, it is DakotaPodcasting@gmail.com. And once again, Scared of the Dark, new album coming out, Something to Burn in May. Check them out on Facebook and Instagrams and all those things. And once again, Chris, Brandon, thank you guys very much for being here. We'll see you guys next time on the Dakota Podcasting Experience.